and what caused the department to reevaluate the existing structure. Recent staffing reductions and impacts on the ability to provide consistent, uninterrupted health care, including mental health and suicide prevention. So I'd like to hear about that. And finally, will the department be administratively prepared to adjust to the restructuring or consolidation of the vision, I guess it's called, from 18 to 5 without hurting day-to-day care?
Yes. This one is probably the easiest one to go at, and although it is been discussed a lot, and we've provided even more just in the last few days, we're going to get more, and we've had briefing after briefing, not only with internally, but on the Hill with VSOs. RISE is about 30 years behind. This should have happened 25 years ago, 10 years ago, should have happened 30 years ago. We were operating off of a system that was basically based in the 80s and 90s of an organizational structure that in 2000 had a budget of about 20 million, I think it was. 40 million.
Subscribe, God bless you. What's going on, my fellow American patriots? This is America Truth Channel, your unapologetic right-wing voice for God, guns, and the greatest country on earth. Today we're reacting to this important House Appropriations Committee hearing where Texas Congressman John Carter directly challenges VA Secretary Doug Collins about proposed staffing reductions at the Department of Veterans Affairs. As a proud right-wing patriot who believes in honoring our military heroes, fiscal responsibility, and cutting government waste without hurting those who sacrificed for this nation, this hearing hits close to home. Our veterans deserve the best care possible, not bureaucratic bloat or political games. Let's break this down in detail, show you the key exchanges, and give you my strong conservative take on why real reform is desperately needed. Right here, Congressman John Carter, a solid Republican, asks the million-dollar question: why is this needed? When it comes to reducing staffing at the VA, Secretary Collins tries to explain the reasoning, talking about efficiency, modernizing services, and focusing on actual veteran care instead of endless bureaucracy. Carter is pressing hard because veterans in his district and across America have dealt with long wait times, mismanagement, and scandals for years. As a right-wing patriot,
I should have welcomed you here. Got I think my late night messed me up. But welcome.
Thank you, Chairman.
Do you have something you would like to talk to you about?
No, sir, we're ready. Let's
All
go.
right. Then we will start with our questions. I'll take a stab at the first one. There's a lot of discussion surrounding RISE, some positive, some expressing concern. I think my question is straightforward, and could you please address some of the concerns? Why is this needed, and what caused the department to reevaluate the existing structure? Recent staffing reductions and impacts on the ability to provide consistent, uninterrupted health care, including mental health and suicide prevention. So I'd like to hear about that. And finally, will the department be administratively prepared to adjust to the restructuring or consolidation of the vision, I guess it's called, from 18 to 5 without hurting day-to-day care?
Yes. This one is probably the easiest one to go at, and although it is been discussed a lot, and we've provided even more just in the last few days, we're going to get more, and we've had briefing after briefing, not only with internally, but on the Hill with VSOs. RISE is about 30 years behind. This should have happened 25 years ago, 10 years ago, should have happened 30 years ago. We were operating off of a system that was basically based in the 80s and 90s of an organizational structure that in 2000 had a budget of about 20 million, I think it was. 40 million in 2000 to a budget now, as we know, is 488 billion. So think about that for just a second. We were still operating and trying to operate over a system that was put in when our system was much smaller, much less complicated as it is now. So the common sense idea is, how do we actually do this? Well, we got to start looking. So all of last year, and we're providing, more and more information I'm happy to talk about, is saying, what do we need to do? What is our choke points? I've been in over 34 states. I've visited 70 hospitals, and I sit down with every executive director when I go and I say, okay, what's your problem? What's your issue? What are we having to figure out? And I consistently heard this one thing, that they would ask for stuff, no matter what state they were in, no matter where they were at, they would send up issues that they had and never hear back. It would go into this sort of just vast, dark chasm somewhere between the VISN and somewhere between the central office, and they'd never hear back. Nothing that we have done in this does anything except strengthen your local VAMC and your local community CBOCs. Nothing, because this actually is giving the executive director and giving the folks there on the ground the tools that they need to actually run their hospitals. They can do their FTE counts. There's no hiring freeze. There's nothing that they can't hire. If they need a doctor, as ranking member and I've talked about before, they hire the doctor, even on a Manning document, which did take away some positions. So, from the Manning document side, does not mean that we cannot still hire those positions. It just simply says that they were not needed at the time. Even if they were filled as late as January of this year, if they didn't need to be refilled, then they just didn't need to be on our document in a Manning document way to show, falsely that something was supposed to be there or not be there. It's based on, do we need the employees where we need them? So the why is basically very simple. We needed an organization that was streamlined. 18 to 5 is actually now giving our VISN directors more control and power to do the things that they need to do, the executive level issues of main management, which also corresponds to civilian look as well. But they're going to be able to handle the big picture items, also the manning hours, things like that. We have HSAs, which are never talked about, which are now going to be added into this, which are actually going to give you better communication for your local hospitals. They're only going to have 5 or 6 hospitals at most that they deal with. And so they're able to talk. So you talk about rural health care. They're actually going to be dealing with only rural hospitals, for the most part. You have urban. They're going to be dealing with mainly urban hospitals. So they're going to be able to talk to their executive directors. They're going to be the direct line for executive directors instead of EDs trying to get a VISN leader that they never could get because the VISN leader had multiple states, multiple things, and other responsibilities. This is going to help. And then when you break it up into policy and procedure, and what we have policy from healthcare perspective, business line, and medical center operations, this is why we have the new system going forward. This has been widely received. At first, there was a lot of, I'm going to be very blunt. There was a lot of, when I was visiting late last year and we started talking about this, the hospitals themselves were scared. What is this going to mean? And when I told them nothing was happening in the hospitals, and now they're actually seeing it, except that they're getting to do more of what they intended to do, there's actually an excitement about what's going on. There's actually a building among the leadership to say, hey, we're now getting the tools to do exactly what this Congress and what everybody's asking us to do, and that's take care of veterans. That's all they want to do. And so we just needed to clear that as we go forward. I know there's a lot of other things, Chairman. That's a long conversation, but we feel good and we're giving more and more information. We'll be happy to give more as we go along.
I respect that he's not just rubber stamping bigger budgets. He wants to know if these cuts will actually improve care, or if they're just surface-level savings that hurt our heroes on the ground. Let's get deep into the details, patriots. The VA has a massive budget, over $300 billion in recent years. Yet we still hear horror stories, veterans waiting months for appointments, suicide rates that break your heart, and administrative waste that would make any taxpayer furious. Secretary Collins is defending the reductions by saying they're targeting inefficiencies so they can better serve veterans, focusing on core mission: take care of veterans. That's exactly what we conservatives have been saying for years. The VA is bloated with layers of bureaucracy. Too many administrators, overlapping programs, and resistance to private care options. Representative Carter is right to ask tough questions. Why cut staff now? Is it because of Trump-era efficiency pushes or pressure to trim spending in a time of massive national debt? Here's my raw right-wing patriot opinion. Our veterans should never be treated as political pawns. They fought for this country, many lost limbs, friends, and peace of mind. The VA has failed them too many times under both parties, but especially under big government Democrats who throw money at problems without fixing root causes. I support smart staffing reductions if they eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. But I'm skeptical when career bureaucrats promise efficiency. We've seen this before. Obama-era VA scandals with secret waitlists, Biden-era delays, and endless excuses. Real conservative solutions mean letting veterans see private doctors faster, VA choice expansion, firing incompetent employees, auditing every dollar, mental health focus that actually works, not woke programs. Secretary Collins needs to prove these cuts will result in better care, not just smaller headcounts while veterans still suffer. Going deeper, this hearing highlights a bigger conservative principle. Government agencies like the VA must be held accountable. Taxpayers fund this system, and veterans earned it through service. We can't keep throwing unlimited money while ignoring results. Representative Carter is doing oversight the right way, asking, why is this needed? Instead of blindly approving budgets. As patriots, we know the real crisis: veteran suicide, homelessness among vets, and inadequate care for those with PTSD and traumatic injuries. The solution isn't always more staff. It's better management, competition with private sector, and removing leftist ideology from veteran programs. We've seen pushes for DEI over merit, climate agendas, and other distractions while basic medical needs go unmet. This ties into the broader America First agenda. We secure the border, cut wasteful foreign aid, reduce the national debt, and ensure every dollar for veterans actually reaches them. No more endless bureaucracy. No more scandals. Real reform means results for the men and women who wore the uniform. Patriots, Representative John Carter's questioning shows real conservatives are watching the VA closely. We must demand transparency, efficiency, and veteran-centered care. Our heroes deserve world-class treatment without the red tape and waste. If this fires you up, smash that like button, subscribe for more Patriot reactions on government accountability, and share this video with fellow veterans and supporters. A comment below. Do you support VA staffing cuts if they improve care? What reforms would you like to see? Should we expand private care options for vets? God bless our veterans.